great.
This is great, man.
I was just looking at the pictures on the wall back there, and it's got all the guests that have been here, but the coolest one was Henry Winkler, the Fonz, giving a double thumbs up. Yeah, what a great guy.
It's pretty awesome.
Amazing.
I thought you were about to say Henry Rollins for a second. Also a cool guest.
Also a great guy.
But in arguably Henry Winkler, notch above. In the world of
if Henry Winkler and Henry Rollins got in a fight, Henry Winkler would win.
Every time.
Because he's the
Fonz. And I don't even think Henry Rollins would argue that.
Yeah, he wouldn't even. Henry Rollins would not fight Henry Winkler.
No.
In a conversation you guys never thought you'd hear today at Build.
This is going to be the first 15 to 20 minutes of this conversation, just so you guys know. So we're going to figure out who's in which camp. Congratulations. Guys, I can't help but do it one more time. Chris Jericho, make some noise. Chris, congratulations on the book, man. I got a second to talk to you backstage to tell you I already read through some of it, most of it, all of it, and there's so many great parts I want to talk to. Before we get into this book, how are you doing, man? How's your weekend? How's your week going? How are you?
You actually care about me. What a fine It's really cool because when you spend a lot of time to write a book, and it takes a long time, hours and hours and hours and hours, this is the fun part. When it actually comes out, you start getting to hear people's reactions. I like this story, this was funny, this part, I got something out of this. So how am I doing? I'm doing great because my 4th book comes out tomorrow. That's great.
The eve of release. Well, that's good to hear. A lot of people, we get people in here all the time. The whole point of this this venue is to come in, have a nice conversation, but talk about like a cool thing that you have coming out. So I get a lot of people that come in here, they're a little anxious, they're a little nervous, they're a little scared. You've worked so hard on this thing, you're putting it out into the world. Now that this is your 4th book, or let's say in general, with all the different creative endeavors you have you ever found yourself in that place of maybe anxious or scared? Well, I know now you're good.
I don't think, not anxious or scared, but it's more of like trying to figure out a new way of bringing these stories to my fans, to the readers, to the people. So the first, I did 3 autobiographies. All of them are big successes. All of them are New York Times bestsellers. All within about an 8-year span. So I wanted to write another book, but I thought to write a 4th autobiography in 10 years, kind of pretentious, you know, I'm not Jack Kerouac or something like this. So how do I do something different? And I get asked all the time, how did you make it into wrestling? How did you make it into rock and roll? How do you do all these things you do? And so I thought that might be an interesting thing. How did I do this? And I started to put together 20 principles, lessons that I learned from various people throughout the years. Friends, celebrities, fictional characters, Gene Simmons, Vince McMahon, Steve Austin, Yoda, everybody in between. People that some of you don't even know. And all of these lessons kind of helped me to realize that I had a very focused way of doing things, and it's all based around the principle of no is a 4-letter word, which I find it is a profanity because people accept the word no. They throw the word no out quite often without even really delving into it and thinking about it. So I wanted to deconstruct that word no and realize that you can always get what you want done. You can always make it happen. You just have to have a little bit of help with the way you think and the way you deal with life, and that's where the 20 principles come into play, and that's what No is a 4-letter word is all about.
I think you hit that nail right on the head, and it almost works too, if I can say, it's almost like a companion piece to the other books, because the other books that you've written in the past have told your story. They've told how you became a wrestler, how you got into that world, but this is
work hard and then work harder. All very, very basic ideas, but if you don't think about them and don't utilize that, you fall into complacency and don't get what you want accomplished.
Totally. Well, one of the things I love that you do here is that I'm hesitant to call it like a self-help, but it's not a self-help book. It is filled with valuable advice, but these are incredible stories. And then there's a lesson to be learned or something to be gleaned from that story. You always are where you're meant to be, the Victimone, or wherever. I'm butchering that quote.
That Victimone, that's a jazz singer from the 50s. It's Mike Damone, the guy from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, who's he's this ticket scalper. And he's trying to teach his friend how to pick up a girl, how to go on a date, how to get the woman. And his one bit of advice that I always remember is, act like wherever you are, that's the place to be. Look at this. Isn't this great? And that's something like a lot of times people will go, man, I had to take the bus to work. It was the worst day of my life. It was a nightmare. It's like,